ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 104 of I Got Gameplay!
Any day now. Whenever you're ready.
Yes, this is episode 104 of I Got Gameplay, and as you can hear, we have a very special guest with us. The lovely, the sexy, the person who has so much style, it exuberates not just one show, but the entire Retro Unlim network. He is Mr. Brandon Liggan.
I like to say I piss excellence.
You do. You're the excellence of pissecution.
True. I'm the Kanye West of the Retro Unlim network.
Yeah, you're like, Michael, that show was good.
This network would not run without me, though. Let's just face it. I am a genius.
Are you the nerd genius?
No, you would technically be the nerd genius. I am a nerd who happens to be a genius.
Okay, that works. And speaking of nerdy geniuses and sexiness and Brandon Liggan, we are Jamie Stiles, people.
Wow, I genius? I think you're a little, I don't think you know me too well if you're calling me a genius.
It's a segue, just go with it.
Did you fail an IQ test, Jamie?
No, I actually, I have a rather high IQ, actually.
So that would technically make you a genius.
Well, apparently you called me the Resident Evil expert, so...
You are a Resident Evil expert.
I mean, you call me that a lot.
Yeah, and I'm a doner kebab expert, so that helps. Just saying.
There you go. Yeah.
Now, speaking of that, of course, guys, we are on episode 104. We're going to be talking Dragon Age tonight. The reason being is because, well, the new game Inquisition.
We should call this episode "Nobody Expects the Dragon Age Inquisition."
But
because I've been waiting to use that joke for like a week now, and thank you for finally providing me a forum to use it, which publicly.
His life is over, people. That's it. He's done.
Yeah, thank you. That was it. It was a week of my creative work, pretty much accomplished in 5 minutes on the show.
Oh, by the way, I did show a friend of mine the This Job for Hire outro that we did for episode 3. With you and butt cancer, and he was like, "Who's the dude that did the Mexican accent?" I was like, "Yeah, that was Brandon."
Some of my finest work, I think.
Yeah, oh, damn straight was one of your finest work. It was in my opinion, spectacular. And by the way, we've got some news coming up about that later on. So let's segue on to some news and do our news section, of course. And as always, we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening this week. So, Jamie Stiles, what's in the news this week?
Well, nothing really know what's happening in the news is that there's a whole bunch of Halo hype over the Master Chief Collection that's coming out, where they're redoing some of the games in HD format.
I think it's justified hype, though.
Right, it is.
Hype because it's really the first time a massive game franchise that has multiple installments has ever provided everything that they have on one disc.
Right. Yeah, but
my problem with it is it shipped with a ton of bugs. Like a ton of bugs, and multiplayer matchmaking is not at all up to par of what it needs to be for a game of that size. I mean, it's as of 10 days after release, it's still a pain in the ass to get on matchmaking lobbies. Unless you happen to know 16 other people that happen to have this game, it's a fucking pain in the ass to get involved in a multiplayer lobby. Campaign is flawless. The Halo 2 remaster campaign is absolutely fantastic. They've managed to work Halo 5's storyline into it too, which
that's cool.
Makes me giddy with utter glee. Whenever I see.
Are you masturbating as you're saying that, Brandon?
I mean, I'm not, but I might have been playing it with a little bit of a chub every time the cutscene comes on. I might have watched every single cutscene from the game without having to play the game, as you could do with the Halo channel. Cheap plug for the Halo channel.
Yes.
Ooh.
And speaking of broken, the Assassin's Creed Unity, apparently Ubisoft admitted that the game is, broken.
Oops, our bad.
Oh god, no.
You missed a very bad pun of "Oops, be soft."
Yes! Dick joke.
Ubisoft has gone soft on this one. They've admitted basically that the game, which seems to be playing online multiplayer with just eyes and a tongue, seems to be
That lovely coconut. It did spawn that lovely coconut head meme, though. Where I think it's one of the characters. I think somebody was on Kotaku or somewhere on Reddit or someone. I saw it. Oh, excuse me. I saw it on Kotaku where someone photoshopped the head of a coconut, or like a coconut where a character's head should be. So it's just you see the eyes and the lips and stuff like that on a coconut's head. It's absolutely hilarious.
Well, Ubisoft said to bypass this and get past all the dodgy cutscenes is their suggestion for many gamers on the main menu, by ignoring the basic game features, you may be able to play the title. They said it may be a bit drastic, but we have now entered into the realm of silliness. Assassin's Creed Unity has been buggy and incomplete experience since it was launched on consumers. Now, addressing the crashing issues the game has been seen, Ubisoft has said the problem is so basic that it begs to the question of why the game was even launched in the first place. It also begs the question of pay your QI testers. There has been significant
actually even have QI testing, because as far as as what I've been led to believe in the gaming industry, that the QI tester position is really something that's kind of being faded out. That developers themselves are, expected to test the game. Like the 343 studios did like playtest Fridays, where everybody just got together on their station and loaded up whatever build of the game and just LAN partied it out.
Well, that's like
to try and break the game.
But that's like being a filmmaker and testing if your film isn't shit. You can't do that. You can't give something an objective opinion if you made it. That's why you need QI testers. Now, there's been significant crashing issue for Assassin's Creed Unity on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. All three platforms have suffered the game locking up and failing considerably. Now, oops, Ubisoft is saying you can't use one of the game's basic social features. Although the live update, Ubisoft writes, we have discovered one of these issues may cause the game to crash on the main menu after pressing the continue button. This issue affects all platforms.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have that issue. My problem I had with the game was, the first mission is basically a glorified game of hide and seek. Like you're in the Palace of Versailles. I mean, it's absolutely a marvelous looking game. And it feels so refreshing to be able to go from the inside to the outside seamlessly without having to load up a new cutscene or a map or anything else like that. So, they finally have, as far as the game, whereas their idea started 7 years ago and as to where it is now, they finally evolved. And it's finally truly a immersive next-gen experience. I just think we're back to the tedium of, a lot of people didn't like Assassin's Creed 2's tedium because you're kind of playing Ezio's life literally from birth to Revelations. You're literally playing his death, but those early Assassin's Creed 2 moments just really tedium when you just really want to get into the actual game, the meat of the story. Well, that's my problem with it.
So basically, it's faffing about Creed.
It is. It's suffering from what Assassin's Creed 1 bit. Too much faffing about.
Now, basically, they also go on to say as well that if you add people into your game contact section into the game, you experience crashing issues as well.
That's not our fault. That's your fault for releasing a broken game. I mean, here's why I'm not going to fully put all the blame on the development team, because this is probably speaks to a larger issue in gaming in general. Because so many of these titles are on hard point release dates. Like Assassin's Creed is one of these games that if that game's not out in the holiday season, Ubisoft is missing their yearly profit margin. So, developers are on such a hard crunch to try and get a game out there. Bugs like this get overlooked, and, They'll just be like, okay, people aren't going to react that much, or they're going to fucking lose their fucking mind. But either or, we're going to get the game out,
But how
and then
can
we can
you,
work on a patch.
How can you basically do that to people? Why are you sending out broken
Contracts.
games?
It's contracts, man. It's like, it's the contracts of when the game has to be out, and it's also because the major gaming companies' business models are just such based off of these releases being out on time for the fourth quarter that bugs will get overlooked just to get a game out there, just to get a game processed and able to ship, and they'll worry about patching.
Well, Pawn Source Returns says no shit, it's broken. Because I'm looking at the comments on this article here. Ultimate Master says, thanks for the crashing issues causing Assassin's Creed Unity more issues. Ubisoft suggesting to skip out some of the basic features, and he said like playing the game altogether. And Camel Toad.
That's what I'm doing. I'm basically waiting till all the issues are patched up. I've bought the game, but waiting till they fix it to play it through fully, so I can get the full experience without any issues.
Basically, Ubisoft PR is saying, just don't buy our game.
Yeah, don't buy our game yet. Or buy Far Cry 4, which seems to be working okay.
Yeah, because it looks like Far Cry 4 actually has been QI tested.
Far Cry 4 has my all-time favorite gaming Easter egg of all time now, I would say.
Oh, what was that?
It's where you get a peaceful resolution to the situation. If you just literally, I guess if you're in the room with where the villain takes you to, in the game, like early in the game, and if you stay there for 15 minutes, just walk around the room, he comes back, takes you to the place where you're supposed to go to drop off your mother's ashes, gives you this whole backstory and stuff like that. You go in, drop off your ashes. He says, "Okay, do you feel better now? Can we go shoot some fucking guns?" And then, should I stay or should I go by the Clash plays? Credits roll. Absolutely hilarious game. Literally, you could complete the game in 15 minutes.
Whoa. So you basically takes you there, and then 15
yeah, because like you're supposed to, you're in the room with the guy, and your objective is to escape, and that's what like will trigger the rest of the game. Well, if you just stay there for 15 minutes, like the guy says, "Wait here, enjoy the crab rangoon. I'll be back." He's got to go, subdue somebody or something like that. I don't know. I'm really kind of sketchy on the whole overall storyline.
I think if there was crab rangoon there, then I would stay.
Exactly. There's actually a thing you push the button, you say press X to enjoy crab rangoon, and you enjoy it, and then it's literally a peaceful situation to the scenario is resolved, and you realize that the guy's not such a bad guy after all. He's just a little, a little crazy.
So wait,
crazy is good.
You, by staying in that room, you have basically finished.
You finish the game peacefully. Yes. It literally gives you. It feels like you have like the ultimate, decision making, because sure, if you did just stay there in that room, that guy would have been perfectly okay and not murdered you.
Because it's like no one's gonna think to do that. Everyone's in the game sense of, oh my god, gotta get out, gotta escape, gotta run.
And I'm wishing like this came out after the game was out, because the fact that this Easter egg was probably found in while someone was reviewing the game, I think.
So it wasn't a defect. They actually left it in there for a joke.
They actually left it in there for a joke because they figured Ubisoft, the developers at Ubisoft, probably said, who's going to actually stay in this room for 15 minutes or whatever the time needs to elapse for it to pass to trigger it. Might as well. I hope so, because I'm eagerly looking forward to doing this when I buy Far Cry 4 inevitably. I'm sorry, Ubisoft, it did get knocked down by fourth quarter instant gaming purchases.
Yeah, the
behind
first
GTA.
game I'm gonna purchase in the next probably couple of weeks is Smash Bros for my daughter. But that's the special edition one that's out on the 5th of December. It's not actually out on the 28th of November. Nintendo have offered me a code where I can actually get a discount on the normal edition plus an amiibo, but I want the special edition. So yeah, sorry Nintendo.
It's that time of year. I mean, obviously with the holidays approaching. Oh, excuse me, big water burp. All these massive titles are coming out, and it's hard. It's hard for the normal folk like us to budget. Like literally had to base my budget this week around games because okay, I'm gonna want to play this when it comes out, like GTA and WWE 2K15. So it's like, all right, I'll go. I'll eat light for a few days and wait till paycheck comes in before I go grocery shopping and maybe just have to make $8 last me a weekend. I'm now down to my final $5, but I think it's worth it because I have new games to play.
Ramen,
I'm
ramen.
Exactly. I live off McDonald's dollar menu, and
Hey, there's nothing wrong
places
with the
like
dollar
that.
menu. When I basically want to eat bad but still stay on my diet, I eat McDonald's dollar menu, like chicken mayos, and they fill me up, and
So
I
it's
don't violate my
so
diet.
terrible for you, but so delicious.
Oh yeah, it's sacrilegious.
Oh God, it is.
Sacrilegious.
Like, oh my God, I really feel bad that I enjoy this as much as I do, and this is probably going to inevitably lead to my dying, getting diabetes, or some sort of massive.
If you're gonna go happy, man.
Exactly. That's my philosophy on life. That's how
Hey,
I've lived
I
my
know what's
30
going to
years
happen
on
to
this
me.
planet.
I'm going to end up dead at 70 with a hooker in the bathroom, kebab in one hand, and a big smile on my face.
Because that's
There
how
you
your
go.
dad went out.
That's how I'm going out because I'm Turkish and that's the way it goes. Hopefully in LA, that's what I want to do. Be like happily with a hooker in LA. That's my thing. Now,
A pile of Coke on the bathroom sink.
if you mean no, I do Pepsi Max. I don't do Coke.
Oh. Okay.
Ah, you got the joke. Anyway,
I hurt my nose.
I hurt my nose.
I was in rehab. I hurt my nose.
We're saying that. Going on back to segueing back to Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed problems. Do you think they made a big mistake here releasing this game when they did, Jamie? Do you think that
No. Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, Jamie, you sound like Brandon.
Oh, sorry, I had a frog in my throat there. They did, but they're not going to catch any flack for it because that's what everyone is doing these days. They rush these games. They have these core game creators and animators working on like 5 games at a time. They don't know whether they're coming or going. They don't get paid correctly, and then they put a game out and they're the ones who catch all the flack for it when it's not their fault.
So speaking of that, apparently GTA 5 owners on the Xbox One and PS4 are stating that the game's online mechanism is not working properly, and Rockstar are actually going to patch the game on November 22nd, which is today.
Oh, big surprise! GTA Online doesn't really work all that properly. I mean, it's like I love that game. I love that aspect of the game to death. As I'm bought the game for a third time. But never has one game mode caused me so much frustration in my just life in general. Like there was so much promise to GTA Online when it was first announced. Like, oh, it's gonna be 16-person multiplayer, and now on the Xbox One it's 30-person multiplayer. You're gonna be able to do jobs with all your friends. You're gonna be able to pull heists and rob places and stuff like that. So far, no heist mode. Over a year after the game's release. We're still sitting on a no heist mode.
Do we have it?
Nothing even.
Do we have it on the other platforms on the last gen?
No, it's not. It's not even on any platforms. There's no bank heists. No anything. Nothing to do.
That shit is whack, yo.
It is because an online GTA is something that appeals to me so much and appeals to a large number of gamers. Just that open world freedom, but yet you could cause absolute utter chaos if you want.
Okay, so I have an actual question.
Yeah.
I've been looking into like I can't buy all the games, so I have to watch gameplay. I've been wanting to watch the gameplay of Grand Theft Auto 5 or one of the Grand Theft Auto games. Does it actually have a
No.
story?
It does. No, GTA 5 has an actual very compelling story. The campaign mode is as far. I mean, I've been playing Grand Theft Auto campaigns. I mean, probably since GTA 3, because I mean, I don't really remember GTA 1 and 2's campaigns all that much. I remember it was just your guy trying to get respect. Ever since they actually finally started to have a story in their game, since GTA 3, they've been getting progressively better. I mean, it was the appeal to all the other ones was you're seeing Hollywood actors like Samuel L. Jackson, Ray Liotta, and et cetera, doing video game characters. Now they're not having anybody really famous doing it. It's really you're just watching like a movie. And it's three characters. There's three characters, so it's very compelling. It's very by far the most.
I've tried to watch the gameplay to 5, and I got maybe like 30 minutes into it, and I'm like, this is kind of brutal, and there's not really a story. I guess you gotta get a little further into it.
The story is kind of like it's what you would expect from a GTA game. You're trying to earn money. They find ways to justify you do horrible things to the NPCs and stuff like that. Like,
I think it's one of the best game stories I've ever
You're playing a criminal. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was definitely the best story that was told on the last generation of consoles. I think GTA 5 was the best game on the previous generation of consoles.
I'm gonna get hated for this, but it's much better than the story in God of War.
Yes, because the God of War story is very formulaic. Follows a lot of archetypes, much like our subject of the show, Dragon Age. Oh, we'll get to that later, though.
Exactly. Well, I'm looking at the moment all our other news stories. Now, apparently,
I got a news story. Or not really a news story, but the trailer for a game that I am eagerly anticipating was released this week. Telltale Games, Fire from Ice, their Game of Thrones first episode in their Game of Thrones episodic game series was released. Very short, 1 minute teaser trailer. You got Lena Headey doing her Cersei Lannister. I was very happy to do that because I was one of those things that I wasn't sure of. I didn't hear that the full television cast was going to reprise their roles because they didn't for The Walking Dead, because The Walking Dead game kind of takes place in a different universe than the TV show. But this is going to be straight, TV show universe. The characters from everybody from the show is going to appear and do their voices. Very excited. Much heavy breathing when I was watching this minute. I think I had to watch the trailer at least 3 or 4 times over again. Right? No release date yet, though. They love to just jam the needle in with this. There's no hard release date, just soon.
I'm still waiting to see if we're going to get a 3rd season of The Wolf Among Us.
I think you will, because that's a major franchise for them, and it's something that they've created themselves. It's really their own IP, I think, isn't it? So yeah, they'll definitely you'll see episode 3 of The Wolf Among Us.
They did kind of create it themselves, but it was based off of their comics, Fables.
Right.
Yeah, that's Fables is a DC comic book, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Now,
if I'm not mistaken, it is published under DC.
Speaking of that, trying to find a segue for this. The Santa Monica sponsors demo event to increase girls' interest in technology. Now, Sony Santa Monica will be the primary sponsor of the DIY Girls Social event in Santa Monica. So if there's any lovely ladies out there who want to actually join the event, you can do. The event is from 7 to 10 p.m. December 4th. And it's a really, really good idea, I think. Because
is this industry responding to Gamergate, which is not at all the gate? But is this like the first real industry, related response to Gamergate to try and, shape up their appearance towards their projection of women or the treatment of women in the industry.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Don't know what I'm talking about at all. No. Okay.
No, I don't feel that women are being mistreated in the industry.
I'm not. I don't feel that they're not. They're not at all. But ever since that, there's this large appearance that there is mistreatment of women in the industry.
Oh, you mean
all of a sudden,
Sarkeesian talking about women in the
okay,
industry.
I'm just saying that this is pretty.
We don't talk about her here because she's a politician.
I know we don't. But I find it. She is the loudest voice of this issue that's not really an issue, that's kind of getting blown up out of proportion.
She's a troll.
I feel it's not really a troll, but
she's a troll. That
definitely somebody who's looking to further their own personal agenda, whether or not she maybe actually has deep personal investment in this or not.
She does, because she wants to be a politician. She wants to go into politics.
Or she wants to continue to be on TV shows.
Yeah, but that's gonna.
That Colbert bump was very good for her. That's all I'm gonna say. She did get the Colbert bump.
Yeah, but Colbert basically lost all respect when he was talking shit.
Gamergate is not at all gate, though. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, of course it's not freaking gate. Gamergate was about gaming journalism basically being corrupt. That was it. This whole anti-feminism stance is like.
I love how it's like gaming journalism, and then she turned it into a treatment of women in the industry.
The thing is, lovely. I agree to some levels. I just don't agree with her tripe. In the sense, you know what? I'll go into this whole situation.
All right. Did I say a bad thing?
No. For instance, I can go back to.
Did I just set you off on you're gonna do a whole 20-minute soliloquy on this?
The funny thing is, it's not gonna be a rant.
You don't have to. I'm trying to move you on from it.
I know. It's not a rant about Neo Sarkeesian. It's just a rant about double standards. There's still the problem is equality doesn't get achieved when one side has dominance over the other. You can't sit there and say women rights, when you're taking away rights from the other side as well. Equality means an equal footing on both sides, and I want to give a for instance here. There was a situation that's happened, I'm not going to go into too much of my private life, where the finger is being pointed at me. I have people who work for Department of Social Services looking at treatment of my son and trying to say that I assaulted my child, right? And talking about how aggressive I am, because apparently it's the father is the first one that they look at when they think someone has been assaulted. So they've basically been talking to my son's mother, asking her if she wants to speak out about the very bad man. This is what is the problem with equality: is equal on both sides, objectively see things on both sides, not sit there and choose one side over the other, because then it doesn't become equality. You're defeating the purpose of everything you're trying to achieve. Thus is where the problem lies, and that's my end of convo on that. Jamie, do you want to say anything about it?
I believe that there is no. I don't believe in feminists. I don't believe in anything like that. I believe in equality for everyone, every gender, every race, every non-binary, everything, every animal. We are all alive. We all deserve the same amount of respect. And females get objectified, but what we don't seem to understand is that males get objectified too. Do females get objectified more? Yes. Is it a problem? Yes. Do we need to speak out against it? Yes. Do we need to start an entire political movement? No. Why? Because that is when it starts feminazi. You want to see, there are people in video games who do get discriminated against, who do get put down. There are women in video games who get shown as completely wrong. One of my newest things about that is Kidman from The Evil Within. She is constantly used as bait. She is constantly used as nothing but bait, and you stay behind and be watched. Me and the other guy will go up. We don't want you to get out in the firefight. We don't want you to have to fight. and then in the end, magically, she's supposed to have feelings for the male character. Fuck no. That's not how this works.
Well, I mean, that was basically also
not.
the entire point of Resident Evil 4, though. Too.
Well, no. Ashley was the president's daughter. Ashley did not have any sort of combat training. Ashley was kept in a cushy lifestyle, and that's what was supposed to be shown. My only problem with Resident Evil 4 was Ada. The fact that Ada was captured at least 3 times, when in Resident Evil Damnation, I believe it was, she shows that she can completely get herself out of those situations.
Glorified escort mission.
Do I believe that every single female in video games is sexualized? No. Do I believe that every single male in video games is portrayed correctly? No, because they are portrayed wrong as well. I believe that sometimes in video games, to have someone portray the trope character like Ashley from Resident Evil states a message. She lived the cushy lifestyle. She was not supposed to know how to fight. She was not supposed to know how to do anything, and that's why you rescue her, because she was the president's daughter. She was supposed to be the valley girl with Starbucks and Uggs, okay? But someone like Kidman from The Evil Within, she was a police officer. She was a detective. She was trained. She could handle herself, and here she is. No one lets her do anything. Yeah, see, if they are trained to do something, then that's okay. If it is in their story, where they live the cushy lifestyle, they don't know how to do things, then that's okay. Look at someone who I will always look at for the appropriate female character development is Clementine from The Evil Within, not The Evil Within, from Walking Dead. Clementine went from a scared little girl to a badass who learned through her experiences.
From not fighting zombies,
not every female has to be a badass. Not every female has to be something. Fuck writing strong women. There's something going around.
Look, I always look. They can't say anything about these women like a submissive female archetype in female gaming, because one of the longest protagonist franchises in gaming history is Metroid, which has a female protagonist.
Right.
Not my the other M. The other M has Samus going, "I love boys. Tell me what to do."
My thing is, do not write super strong women. Fuck writing strong women. Not all women are strong. Write females who strive for love. Fight women who strive for connection. Fight women who strive because they need to be validated. Write women, not tropes. If you have if you have a woman who has a character where she needs to be validated, that is fine. Hell, I need to be validated. But make it a character. Do not make validation her character. Make it a characteristic. And that's all I've got to say.
But I agree with you on that. And this is the problem. And in terms of equality, there is no true equality in terms of anything these days. And the issue with people like Sarkeesian is she likes to get trolls on her back so she can sit there and do this. Oh my god, the men are hating on me because I'm a strong woman. Oh. And it's like, okay, you sit there and preach something about feminism and then do that. This is where the problem lies, Anita. This is where the problem lies. You want to be the strong girl.
I really wish I didn't open my mouth.
There you go. Now, leaving that alone and going on to... we are waiting on our special guest, Chris Sanderson, who's going to be joining us from Pixels Without Borders. And
that's an awesome title for whatever he does.
It's a gaming format.
I hope he brings next gen consoles to children in Africa.
He does.
That's really what he should be doing.
He should be. And as we go on from that, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little breaky, and we'll be right back after this.
Backy.
We're going to be playing, this.
Every young hot shot in the outer rim comes gunning for me sooner or later.
Tonight, finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but an answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbonite's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free. Yeah, told me get myself together. Now I got myself together. Yeah. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy. The carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. Solo. I'm picking up my plaster, putting it on my sign. I'm jumping in my Falcon, put me at my side. I'm solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. Solo.
Nice job. Yeah. Mind if I join you for the next one?
Now I'm feeling how I should. Join the alliance, it feels so good. Oh, stop feeling misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so flat time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. Oh, oh yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Told me get my act together. Now I got my act together. Yeah. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy. The carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. Solo. Feeling like a star. You can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City. My head's in the sky. I'm solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. Solo.
I haven't seen dances like that in a long time.
That was I'm Han Solo from Star Wars Connect. Yes, I played that song, and the reason why I played that song is because of Retro Unlim Live 38, I believe, which is The Empire Strikes Yak. That was on yesterday. Check it out on the Retro Unlim Live channel. It's youtube.com/RULive. And Brandon is probably just sitting there wondering what the fuck.
I was, because like I didn't know, like I usually get up and you know use the bathroom during the breaks, but I stayed around to like that song because I heard a sound effect that sounded like Star Wars, and I'm like, wait, that sounds awfully familiar. That sounds like a land speeder.
Yes, and it's
what song are you playing?
It's basically off the Star Wars Connect game, where they decided to put unique songs such as Princess in a Battle and I'm Han Solo.
From that terrible Star Wars Connect game. Okay.
Yeah, they had a dance-off feature in it.
Oh my, I'm very glad I never played that then.
Dude,
It was awesome.
It was...
I had to dance to it. They what they did.
But like
for,
my
the
inner
promo
fanboy
was-
would have been pulling my... Sorry, my inner fanboy would have been pulling my hair out during that.
What they did was, like, for the RU promo thing, they're like, hey, we need you to dance. And they contacted me, and they're like, hey, we need you to, you want to dance for this? And I'm like, yeah. And I looked at the video, and I'm like, I actually have everything to pull, like, a Femme Han Solo, like, out of my closet. And so at the end, I'm dancing as, like, Femme Han Solo.
Yeah, but I've got the moves. My moves are the best in the whole video. Me and Xander
Showing off your guns.
and Xander was just doing that whole
Oh, God.
shoulder thing.
Xander had me cracking up. Like,
Oh, dude, I was crying with him.
I know, he's just like, oh god, what am I doing? Where am I?
It was just like, let's see the stupidest thing that I can do and just do it in this video. And by the way, ladies and gents, he's not with us today, and the reason why Xander is not very well, he's got a bit of a tooth problem, which is causing his face to swell.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
So that's the reason why he's not with us today. He will be back,
alright.
hopefully in the next couple of days. Well, you know, he'll tell me what's going on, and he'll be back with us next week. It's just one of those situations where I do feel bad for him. Now, as we discussed that, we're now going on to our topic of tonight, which is Dragon Age. We're going to have Chris join us in a little bit. He said he's making a coffee, so he should be on as soon as possible. I can call him. Okay, so I've got to call him again. Okay, as we're doing that, let's talk Dragon Age. Chris, you there?
Hello.
Hello. He's my favourite Britishman. He is. In the hallways of the great British gaming journal people, we have lovely fellows like Larry Bundy Jr. and Mr. Ashens himself. And on that, the man who sits on top of the golden throne is the gentleman from Pixels Without Borders. He is Chris Sanderson. Chris, welcome to I Got Gameplay. This is Brandon, of course, and Jamie, the very lovely Jamie, and the very beautiful Brandon, who loves McDonald's.
Jesus Christ, kiss her ass some more. Why don't you? Jesus,
I
man.
do. I kiss her ass a lot because she gets me free stuff. You know, she got me crack last week. I mean, nothing. And you know, welcome, Chris. Chris, do you want to tell us a little bit about Pixels Without Borders, what you guys do? Brandon thinks you give consoles to South African people.
I mean, I hoped. I really just hoped you brought like gaming to impoverished regions and stuff like that. Like, you know, you're there in Liberia, you know, with your hazmat suits, you know, providing, you know, gaming entertainment to Ebola-stricken children.
And then not being allowed back in the US.
Yeah, and then not coming to my country, thank God.
Oh, poor Chris.
Maybe that should be a future plan. I'm just saying. I mean, maybe you start small and you start covering gaming, and then maybe you branch out to, you know, bringing gaming to war-torn regions and stuff like that. You know,
It could be an idea.
you could be the Bono of the gaming industry, man. If you did
Basically,
that.
he
Saying,
means
it's
the
ideas.
self-consistent prick who just keeps talking about poverty but won't give any of his own money.
Okay, fine,
Well,
you can be the
Bob
Warren
Gelb.
Buffett.
Yeah, pretty much the same. You must save the world. Great. Give some of your own money. Fucking nuts. So yeah, let's go
I'm
back
not that fucking rich.
Yeah,
That's my terrible Bono impersonation.
I'm not that fucking rich. So yeah,
I'm not that fucking rich.
I sound like I'm one of the band members from Oasis. Anyway, Dragon Age.
Manchester, not Ireland.
Yeah. Dragon Age is a dark fantasy role-playing video game series created by BioWare. It's the first game by Dragon Age Origins, was released in 2009. Dragon Age 2, a sequel to Origins, was released in March 2011. And now we have the newest one, which is Dragon Age Inquisition.
Which I'm telling you, nobody expects the Dragon Age Inquisition. Yeah. I'm telling you.
The fantasy setting.
The fact that
has
there's
been
not,
used...
if that's not, we have to come out that a shirt of that immediately before someone usurps us on that.
About this game, which actually is the cornerstone of it as well, is the bad voiceovers. Brandon,
Are they really that bad? I mean, cheesy, yes, not bad. It's not bad voiceover acting. I think it's
not good.
What complicates this game is the cheesy storylines. The fact that they literally cherry pick. I mean, Dragon Age. The first Dragon Age was basically a cherry picking of Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and a few other sort of like loose fantasy, sci-fi, you know, properties, story-like types. Like it was the, you know, this order of people that was destroyed. You're the last hope for it, you know. Then you're helping some other guy who's secretly, the true king of this empire and all this other, I'm not gonna get into it. If you play the game, you know the fucking storyline.
Did
I
the
don't
Empire
have to.
Strike Back?
It's very Star Warsy. It's very Lord of the Ringsy because you have like this one, like I guess you're looking for some sort of amulet or something like that could help you defeat the Dark Spawn or whatever the hell the fucking the enemies are called or something like that. You're basically fighting orcs, but not calling them orcs, or not zombies, but not calling them zombies at times.
And fat people, but not calling them fat people.
And just random people. I mean, it's a great, like I said, I love the game because it feels like a gameplay successor to one of my all-time favorite games of all time, which is Knights of the Old Republic, which is what put me on to BioWare, which is why I put BioWare up in my upper echelon as far as game developers.
Even though they're associated with EA.
You know what? I have a love-hate relationship with EA because, yes, for all their bad things they do deliver. I do love their games because EA Sports. I am a Madden addict.
It's in the game.
Always been. It's in the game, man. I've been hooked on that since NHL 1994. That's 20 years of my life. Okay? I'm in. I'm full committed. I'm an EA insider on Xbox Live. Yeah, I could play Dragon Age Inquisition right now if I had the space on my Xbox One. Which, spoiler alert, if you have an Xbox One or you have the original Xbox One 500 gigabyte, you could literally fit 12 games. 12 games and a few apps. No more than 12 games at a time on your hard drive. That's full disc games, by the way. Anyway, I'm going off on a
Okay,
tangent.
so what we're going to do is let's talk about experiences first. Chris, what's your experience with the Dragon Age franchise?
I remember seeing a trailer originally for Dragon Age, and I'm like, shit, this looks awesome. An unbelievably violent RPG from BioWare. And I thought it was going to be like a rival to the Witcher series, which it isn't. But I played the first one for about 30 or 40 hours, and unfortunately my PC died and I lost my save, and I just haven't started it since.
Oh
It's
god,
one of those
that's
games.
horrible.
It's one of those. It's absolutely one of those games that once you devote, it's like any RPG. Once you get to a certain point in your character's development, you just don't want to go through it again. Like, you've played it, you've done this grind before, you know exactly how you're going to do it, you're not going to change anything about it because you know what got you there, you know exactly what items you need to get before, like how many you need to get. Even you might even know it better, you'll play it better because you know to stock up on more things early. But yeah, I feel you on that. There's plenty of games like that I've just...
It's like, I
that wall.
don't know. I don't know if it was just Dragon Age or just a point where I were just in general with gaming, but I thought the combat with Dragon Age was very repeatable. You did the same debuffs, you did the same buffs, you did the same.
Yeah, but you know what though? It felt more fluid though because it was sort of timed. Like, I like how the fact that time kind of like slowed down sort of while you were in it. Like, you could play it like an action RPG, or you could literally play it like it's like how Knights of the Old Republic was literally turn-based combat, like old school RPG. So I felt that it was, taking RPGs in a new direction, really, and it seemed to have done that, and that's I guess not Dragon Age itself, but BioWare is really known for that, and I think it's a series that continues their high standards, even though, what issues I have with their story. It's still a fantastic game. The cutscenes and all that other stuff are absolutely well put together.
Yeah.
You do have some emotional attachment to some characters and stuff like that because, again, you have that the characters will perform better for you if they how they feel attached to you and stuff like that. So you kind of want to build up relationships with your characters to get them to fight better or better bonuses or whatever debuffs.
I do like the fact that sexual encounters aren't
Oh, I love that. I love that. I mean, it takes games into real life. Like that's a real part of life. You could build up romantic attachments with somebody. I
Maybe an
like being
orc.
able to do that as a male or female character.
Or an orc that doesn't call itself an orc.
If you're into that kind of thing, I mean, I don't know why anybody would want to have sex with somebody that's not in their own species, but
I think one of the cooler things that I heard from the newest Dragon Age Inquisition is I haven't played any of the games myself, but I have a friend who's posting about it on Facebook, and she said that they've actually brought in the LGBTQ community into Dragon Age Inquisition. Like there's canonic, like lesbian characters, gay characters. There are genderqueer characters. There are gender fluid characters and things like that. And I really appreciate that in the game.
Hey, you could make love to a dog.
Yeah, I mean it's like Fable in that regards. Like it's really lets you express yourself however you want in the game. Like there's no like archetype. You have to seduce this. You can only seduce this character. You could seduce any character you want, really, almost.
You could even seduce the guy that's locked you in prison.
Can you? Oh wow,
I can.
Takes the game into a whole other direction.
Yeah,
that people have already probably written fanfics about.
There's a hole there. It's got the key.
Oh, jeez, Louise.
Jeez Louise.
Go into the dark places,
Jeez Louise, my cheese.
Go into the dark place.
Now, talking more about Dragon Age, let's talk about Dragon Age Origins first. So, Brandon, what's Dragon Age Origins about? Tell us a little bit about what this game is.
I'm very, like I said, it's been like almost 5 years since I played the game.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll take you through what the game's about, and then you can explain.
Yeah, I don't remember minute story details. I remember you're the last of like the Grey Wardens or something like that, and which are like this protectors of the land. And I can't remember the name of the name of the land. And I want to call it Teldrassil, but I think that's Skyrim. And I'm going to totally catch flack because it's not Skyrim, although they're totally trying to be Skyrim. But I think they're trying to do their own thing. Because I think you can play this game in first person, can't you? No? Did I make that up? Am I thinking that in my head? Maybe I'm wrong.
You might be able to on the PC.
Yeah, you might be able to on the PC. I don't know if you can on the console. So okay, it's not like Skyrim.
So let's talk a little bit about this now. Dragon Age.
So yeah, you're one of these you're the last of like the Grey Wardens, and you encounter somebody who's ends up being through their lineage the true king of this land or something like that. And I remember there was a great battle with this like evil army, like the looming threat that was supposedly gone and is now back, and that's why all the Grey Wardens are dead. Because the king turned on them. It was very Star Warsy, Lord of the Ringsy. You know, I was definitely they borrowed that from Star Wars. Oh, they borrowed that from Lord of the Rings. Oh, that character is definitely based off of Gandalf or Obi-Wan Kenobi and some hybrid thereof. But still a fantastic game, though. I'm not gonna say I still sat and played through it until like I eventually inevitably moved on. I loved the game, but I inevitably moved on from it.
So basically, your player that you're playing, you're introduced to Duncan, the commander of the Freelands Grey Wardens. He's trying to find recruits to join the Order. By the end of the Origin story, the player's character is selected as a potential Grey Warden and leaves with Duncan. The player and Duncan journey to the fortress called Onstagar in southern Freedin to join Callan and the King of Ferelden. Logan, a legendary general of Callan's father-in-law as well. The three leaders plan to make a stand against an encouraging darkspawn before the Blight can overwhelm Ferelden. Duncan has a sense of influence of the Akamon, a god-like being hosted in the body of a powerful dragon that commands darkspawn, which mean that this would be the first and true Blight in over 400 years. It's of most importance that the Blight is ended before it can gain momentum in previous Blights left Thaddeus in ruins. Now, as you can tell, it's one of those big-ass adventure stories here. Now, do you guys, Chris, do you feel that this game is kind of free roam? Does it allow you to go places, or is it more linear?
No, it allows you to do what you want to an extent before you have to progress with the story. And that's what I remember with the first Dragon Age. You could do what you want, but if you wanted to go to X area, you had to do that part of the story first. And then you could explore that area.
So it basically would lock you out, depending on what it wanted to do. So tell us a little bit about that. What makes this game so attractive to most people? Because it seems that it did catch on and gain a huge following.
I think it's just good storytelling, which
it's also a good game too. It's not a bad game. It's actually a fantastic game, and it takes the action RPG that like Knights of the Old Republic, and it brings it in another story direction, and it's telling an original story. But it still feels like this, the same game that I fell in love with in 2004 or whatever. When did I play Knights of the Old Republic? Jeez, that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know, I suppose you could say it's this generation's Knights of the Old Republic, because I grew up.
It really is.
I grew up with Knights of the Old Republic, which is amazing, and I can still go back to it today and enjoy it.
It launched an entire. Knights of the Old Republic launched an entire subsection of Star Wars mythology, like just based on its own. That's its forever long impact. No matter what Disney tries to do, they will never affect the impact. The universe that game has spawned will never die. Like, people will always be abhorrent to the old time, what I call old timey Star Wars. Okay,
now,
that's my
Dragon Age Origins had a ton of expansions, including the Stone Prisoner, Warden's Keep, the Return of Austrasia, and also an Awakening, which is the expansion pack on there. Facetly Gifts and Pranks, the Darkspawn Chronicles, Lena's Song, the Golems of Amagrat's Witch Hunt, and also Ultimate Edition, which is the complete variation of Origins. Now, tell us a little bit about that. What makes the Ultimate Edition any different from the original?
You're just basically playing the full experience, which is for a lot of these games, like for these RPGs like that are going to have multiple expansions. You're better off, like, unless you're just like if you're gamer on the budget, you're better off just waiting for the Ultimate Edition, because ultimately the Ultimate Edition will not be full retail price probably, or if it will be not $59, it'll be maybe $10 off the normal price. You won't have to pay, full $60 retail price for a game that's already been out for whatever. And you're getting all the DLC included with it. So it's basically, for a lot of those games, you're benefiting in the long run, because you're playing the full game, already patched through, and all the downloadable content all in one shot.
So,
like Skyrim. Skyrim, I would say to some people that haven't played Skyrim, get Skyrim now, because you're getting it, the full complete edition. All the expansions.
Well, on
from
Dragon Age Origins, we get Dragon Age 2, which is the action RPG role-playing game, of course, developed by BioWare, published by Electronic Arts, and it's the second major game in the franchise. Jeez. Now, this was released for Microsoft Windows platforms, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Mac OS X in March 8, 2011, and it's set in the same mythical universe introduced in Origins. The player assumes the role of Hawk, a human mage, warrior, or rogue who arrives in the city of Kowal, a lowly refugee, but becomes its legendary champion over the turbulent decade of political and social conflict. The game received relatively positive reviews. Most critics directed the differences between Dragon Age 2 and Dragon Age Origins, such as the removal of the origin stories, race choices, that would be similar worlds, and combat styles. And the unique factor about this is you could transfer your save game from Dragon Age 1 over to Dragon Age 2. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can actually transfer a lot of, even some of your armor too, because I bought Mass Effect after I had already, or before I bought Dragon Age, so it had recognized the fact that I had a Mass Effect save. I had this really strong armor to start out, my game. So I had I didn't need any sort of armor fucking buffs or any sort of because I already had elite level armor to start out the game, just because I had a Mass Effect save on my thing. I was like, wow, this is awesome. But yeah, I love what I love about Dragon Age 2 is you've really felt you had more impact on your character. Like you basically you weren't limited to playing the game a certain way. Like if you wanted to play as a mage, you could play as a mage because you really felt kind of limited in the first Dragon Age. I thought you had to play it this certain way, and then you had other characters in your party that were elemental and magic based and had other sort of abilities, and you could switch between them. But this was the first time where you could choose your own character, like how you specifically were going to play and what role you wanted to play in the party.
So, moving on from that, this game also came with a ton of DLC as well, including the Exile Prince, the Back Emporium, Legacy, Mark of the Assassin as well. Now, Chris, what was your experience?
A lot of those DLC packs were like some of the best DLC packs of the year. I think I forget which one of them.
Okay, elaborate on the DLC then, Brandon. What did it do for you?
I never played any of the DLC. I just remember it added, so many more hours of gameplay onto a game that had been out already for a year. I think by that time,
so it expanded on the story a lot more.
Yeah, that's one of the things that BioWare has been pretty good about in all of their franchise. Mass Effect was the same way. The Old Republic MMO is the same way. It gets continually updated, maybe less frequently than some people would like, but it still gets updated. But these expansion packs that they released add a new story, even if it's not as long as the original game is, because I think some of these games, the story themselves takes if you fully grind it out, it could take you 16 to 18 hours, maybe. I think if you really grind it out, maybe I'm just speaking from my own terrible gaming experience. It takes me 18 hours of gameplay to fully max out a character. I'm not very good. Would be if I had to rate myself. But
So going on from that, what was your experience with this, Chris?
With regards to the DLC.
Not just that, Dragon Age 2, the full spectrum, including moving your character over from Origins to Dragon Age 2.
With Dragon Age 2, because I didn't finish Dragon Age 2 either, because I never finished Dragon Age 1, but I did play it, and it seemed to take the same step as what they took with Mass Effect 2, where it's gone less RPG and more action, which isn't a bad thing, because it was still supported by a good RPG mechanic. And while
anyway, you were still based on it a lot in the combat too, like planning out, you still had to have a good healer. Like I remember that was very critical. I had to restart my Mass Effect. I had to restart my Dragon Age 2 game over again because I didn't bring a healer into my party during this time. I was like, oh yeah, I probably should have this person because I just brought all people that just attack and I'm gonna need a healer. So I had to replay the game over again, build up all those relationships over again, and then bring a healer and then play the game.
Yeah, it's But I mean, when the game came out, I knew a few people that were like more excited for it than me, and they like really hated the game because it was more action orientated. And when I played it, I thought to myself, "What's the problem? There's no issue here. It's a bit faster paced than the standard Dragon Age, but apart from that, there's nothing much different, and I don't understand why there was so much like negativity towards it just because of a little bit of change. But as with most, I suppose you can say, gamers, anything that changes, they don't like it. My God.
Yeah, I know. That's the whiny RPG fans were just like, oh, it's not really, it's a real RPG. Yeah, just because you're not standing there waiting and planning out every minute bit of combat, it's not a real RPG. No, it's an RPG. You had stats. I remember having to specifically level up a character and buy different moves and equip. Not only buy those moves, you have to equip those moves. Like just because you upgraded that move to level 2 doesn't necessarily you're going to do that upgraded move because that move's now not equipped. So I have to go to your bar and then equip it out. It was very grindy.
A lot of people that say it's not a real RPG a lot of them don't even know what a real RPG is. I mean, the closest that they probably ever got to a real RPG is, I don't know, maybe Fallout, the original Fallout. And
Or I mean, a lot of people haven't even played the original Fallout. A lot of people just got it from Fallout 3.
Define real RPG, Chris. Let the world know what a real RPG is.
to me, a real RPG is something that stems from like D&D, like the Baldur's Gate series, anything like
a D20 game.
Yeah, a D20 game, basically. I mean, a lot of the people, when they say, oh, yeah, I love RPGs and things like that, you tell them to play Baldur's Gate, they get killed when they come across their first bear. Because they don't understand what an RPG is, they don't understand stat building, they don't understand what each thing is. All they see is numbers in the weapons, and a real RPG is a lot deeper than that. I mean, with the Baldur's Gate series, I recently picked up I got gifted the first enhanced version, which allows online play. And I played with a group of people, and my God, that game is amazing to play with a group of people instead of just playing it by yourself now. But yeah, it's frustrating because a lot of people say real RPG. They don't know what an RPG is. And when you show them a real RPG, they either say it's boring or it's not as exciting as XYZ titles or whatever it is.
And spoiler alert, Dragon Age does use the D20 method for their combat system. You will attack somebody, and if you notice, because it does have I don't really call it an action item and stuff like that, but you can scroll up and it says how much you hit that person. You critically hit them for 57 hit points on their bar or something like that. So it does have actual I guess algorithm to the combat, I guess, as far as damage dealing, like an RPG. So yes, it's a true RPG.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Gaming lords have spoken. It's by basic of gaming law, it's an RPG.
But that's a lot of thing. That's a lot of thing with a lot of gamers today as well. They want the next quickest thing. They want to get through the game as quick as possible. They don't look at specifics of the game. They don't look at the detail behind it, whether it's something, as you say, where it shows you the specifics of the damage that you did, the percentage that you hit, and so on. They don't want to know that, but yet they claim to know about it. It's I don't know. I suppose you could say it's like gaming ignorance.
Actually, I call it a level of gaming snobbering. People that are like that are like the people that only play JRPGs. And they're waiting for the next, great Tales of Symphonia or something like that. I don't even know if that's a real, or next Chrono Trigger. People that, religiously play Final Fantasy VII for the umpteenth time on the PlayStation 1. On a PlayStation 1.
Wait, I've got to say it, and it's for anybody who talks to me outside of podcast or gaming groups or anything like that, they will hate me. Final Fantasy VII is not that good of an RPG.
It has that hallowed place in the pantheon of RPGs and stuff like that. It is the modern.
Yeah, it's good, and when I played it, I absolutely adored it. But when I played it in recent years, I weren't that impressed with it anymore. When basically.
First of all, 60 hours, that's all I'm saying. 60 hours. 60 hours. I put it this way. I ain't got time to devote something 60 hours and not get paid to do it.
I play Final Fantasy 14, so that's me out of the running with that. I think I'm already around 600 hours with that.
Jeez. I get blown away sometimes by I don't even want to look at how many times I've played some games and stuff like that, because that WWE 2K15 has that in career mode and stuff like that, and you can see how long you've played that, and I'm like, I've only had the game a week. I'm already up to like 8 hours. I'm like, oh, jeez.
So
8 hours.
Oh,
pushing
it's
through.
ridiculous.
Pushing through with that as well, you do have a lot of spin-offs, including Dragon Age Legends, Journeys, and also Heroes of Dragon Age, announced by EA. They know how to milk a product, don't they?
Dragon Age Journeys, don't stop believing.
Don't stop believing!
Yeah, every time I want to do that, I just want to make that joke. Just like, again, no one expects the Dragon Age Inquisition. Thank you very much, BioWare, for going with that, and I'm sure someone made that in your hallowed halls in Vancouver. But yeah, I just thank you for doing.
But now with
that.
countless tie-ins, graphic novels, role-playing tabletop games, and loads of other merchandising, including.
I think it's going to be a movie too. I mean, it has several other like animated features too as well. I think.
And also
it's really spawned this whole
including
culture of
it also made Felicia Day's career from not just being something killed off in Buffy, and she worked as co-producer on a series.
She was in Buffy?
She was in Buffy.
I didn't even know that.
Yep.
Man, didn't even know that. Didn't even know that.
She was I think she was one of those like disposable characters.
I'm sure she's been in plenty of things that I just didn't notice her in, but until she did the Guild, she didn't.
But that's the thing. From spawning from the Guild, she did a series called Dragon Age.
Hi, Felicia.
In 2011, it was written by Day, who also co-produced it as well. Over a dozen days in January, in LA. Associate producer Peter Withell, Independence Day, as director John Bartley, and cinematographer was teased in the project. The web series premiered on October 11, 2011, the same day as the release for the new Dragon Age DLC for Dragon Age 2, The Assassin, which features quests based around Day's character in the film. Now, in the web series thingy. Now we're going on to the final game basically after that, which was Dragon Age Inquisition. It's the current game that's currently out. Chris, have you played this?
No, and I want to get it on the PS4. To be honest, I may very well pick it up tomorrow because I've been watching live streams of it, and my God, it looks amazing.
Yeah, EA are refusing to give out any review copies of this game. They say it's due to the fact
I could give you a quick 6-hour review of it if I could fit it on my Xbox because I'm an EA insider on the Xbox One. Hey, tout the Xbox One. I could play this game for free for 6 hours before I have to buy it. But I don't have any space left on my hard drive, and I'm not about to delete anything.
Well,
right
the game itself is an action role-playing game developed by BioWare, published by Electronic Arts, and it's a sequel to Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, of course, as well, and it makes it the third game in the franchise. Now, BioWare basically fused the elements from the early games into this game as well. Basically,
I will say this as coming from someone I'm very good friends with who has played this game and who is an avid Dragon Age fan. She was not happy. She even used the words "complete waste of $60."
Tell us why though, because a lot of people get unhappy.
I didn't really go into depth. She just wasn't impressed. That's all I'm gonna say. She wasn't impressed graphically. I think she was also trying to play it on the Xbox 360, so the Xbox 360 version probably didn't get as much attention. Oh, did I just get muted? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, because my Xbox just said Xbox mute, and I'm like, did I tell it to mute myself? Anyway, she was not impressed. Basically just probably because the Xbox 360 version probably didn't get as much attention or polish as its next-gen counterparts, and that's just, I think something that is the inevitable.
It's happening a lot. They tend to
with the Xbox 360. Yeah, it's the moving out. They're clearly pushing people now to the next gen consoles with the game because the better versions of the game are on the next gen consoles.
So in terms of the game itself, though, it seems like this is it seems that this is the next logical stage. They've seemed to learn their lessons from games like Mass Effect, of course, and it does have a multiplayer and also
You mean they're not gonna basically kill off their storyline, like they kill off their universe at the end of their third game?
Yep, and also it has a co-op mode on this as well, 4-player co-op mode in this game that you can play.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm actually most looking forward to about this game. Is it's actually gonna feel like a real MMO on the console, I think, because you're gonna be partying up with people to try and complete missions and stuff like that, and try and complete. Is it going to be like you can play the full campaign with your friends?
Pretty much.
Or is it going to be its own? It's going to be its own because Far Cry has a co-op campaign, which is its own storyline, kind of like it's basically sort of like a Left 4 Dead sort of thing. You're basically just playing through one mission, trying to complete an objective, and then moving on to the next mission, trying to complete an objective, which is completing
high
overall.
reviews for this as well, because it's basically on like 90s. People who've played the pre-release versions of this game are noting that the game's apparent ambition and Bioware's ability to listen to fans. Game Radar listed the game as the second best shown in PAX in 2013, commenting on the openness of combat. John Walker from Rock Paper Shotgun plays to hear the top view camera coming back through the remained. Cautious about playing the demo, he said. It was left optimistic but uninformed. So there's a lot of qualities of this game that seem to be working, others not so much. Jamie, what about you? What do you think? Have you seen any playthroughs of Inquisition?
I haven't seen any playthroughs of it yet, but I've seen my friends talking about it, and they seem pretty impressed with it.
Tell us a little bit about your experience with the past Dragon Age games. Have you seen any playthroughs?
No, I haven't. Dragon Age Inquisition was the first game that I actually heard about from Dragon Age, actually.
Ooh. So what do you think about our little learning session here today? Do you think that you found anything awesome about this in terms of the Dragon Age? Because it seems it is an expansive universe, is what Chris and Brandon have been talking about today. But the one thing that kind of lets the game down, apart from the dodgy acting, just saying. And another thing that bugs me about this game as well was there was a take your place challenge where the winner would win a voice role in the game. Didn't seem to materialize.
Did it? That's kind of bad. I don't like it when game companies don't follow through on there. It must have been the person that won. It must have been pretty fucking shitty though.
Hey, I was in the competition. I was fucking amazing.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, you didn't win though, so the person that did win must have been shitty. I was just looking at my Xbox Live Marketplace because hey, I'm doing this show live from my game console. What's up? I would have to delete Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which I'm not quite done playing, and probably Titanfall, which I'm pretty much done playing, just to play Dragon Age. I don't really know if I'm ready to do that. I really don't know if I'm ready to make that commitment yet to Dragon Age. That's what I'm saying. I'm at this point with my Xbox One now where I can't fit any more games. I have to delete something before I get anything more, and I'm like, oh man, what's on the chopping block? What is on the chopping block?
You do more sort of downloadable games rather than purchasing them from store brand?
Well, you know what though, with a lot of these game consoles, it doesn't really matter. At least now with a disc, I have something tangible that I can redeem for profit. Like I had to delete NBA 2K14 that I bought digitally because out of my own laziness for not wanting to go up to the store, and it being the winter, but irrelevant.
Now the winter
I deleted that, and now I have nothing to show for it. Like now I get nothing in return. And maybe PlayStation, I remember where it does have the where you could redeem digital content for something like that. So I wish hey, Microsoft, get on that because that's something that might compel people more to use your digital marketplace. But yeah, now that I don't have that physical, tangible item that I can take into my local game shop and then return for a lesser lesser price on my new shiny game, I'm less inclined now to buy digital because I just had to clear 40-something gigabytes off my hard drive and I don't have anything to show for it anymore.
Chris, what about you? What
Yeah.
platform would you be getting Inquisition for once you get it?
Once I get it, I'll probably get it for PS4, but I'm in the same position with like limited hard drive space. I mean, the newest PS4 games I got were Metro Redux, Grand Theft Auto 5, and Far Cry 4, and I had to clear around 80 gig to install all 3 games.
Yeah, 50. There was for just the install, the update to the install for Halo was 50 something gigabytes. Like, holy fuck balls.
Yeah. A 50 gig install and then a 20 gig day one patch, and the game still doesn't fucking work.
Grown. First world problems, though, I guess.
First world problems.
Yeah.
You know, at least you're not in Africa giving away consoles to kids.
I'm not saying he has to give away the consoles. He just has to provide them with, a means to play games. Like, you don't have to give them the console. Just give them, like, a terminal or something like that. Bring, like, a small EA experience to, like, Burkina Faso. I just love saying Burkina Faso.
Hey, kid, do you have Ebola? Here, take this.
Burkina Faso.
Mufasa!
You know what I'm saying. Like, you go to, like, the Ukraine and stuff like that, places that are being invaded by Russia. Any place where there's a large, refugee population.
Well, on that note, let's go to plugs. Jamie, what are you doing at the moment?
Well, just uploaded a Infamous Second Son review on my channel. Full review including talking about the graphics, the sounds, the voice acting, everything you can think of, and that is on my channel Shimeji. You can find that on YouTube, SHIMEGEE. Check out our Facebook page, Hazardous Cosplay, HAZRD-US Cosplay. I update there a lot. Going to be updating a lot there for cosplays here soon. We're going to start making Roman Torchwick and Neapolitan from Ruby. So keep a lookout for that. We're going to post work in progress pictures. And of course you can find me on Twitter and Tumblr at GVirusJunkie. And that's pretty much all I've been working on lately.
And Chris, what you been up to?
Well, I'm founder and part owner of Pixels Without Borders, and I'm just trying to get that up and running to be a bit more consistent with the website. Hopefully next year we're going to start printing t-shirts for sale, and if you just search Pixels Without Borders in Google, we basically take over the entire first page of Google search engine, which is really good.
That's what I love about your name. It's so unique that there's nothing, you're gonna get nothing else pinged for it. Like, that's great. That's a great name. That's what I'm saying. I almost want you to be that service, providing it like gamers to refugees, stuff like that. But keep doing what you're doing, man. But you should work towards doing that, because that's just great PR.
We also have a podcast which is also on iTunes. It's every 2 weeks, but we're taking a small break. We're gonna do our Christmas episode, and then we're gonna be back in the new year with that. And also, I've got about 6 or 7 games to review and get written up. And I'm just being really lazy at the moment because I'm just so tired. But that's about it.
Awesome. And Brandon, what about yourself?
Well, I guess cheap plug to my show on this network, Slamcast, with Mr. Burhan, Mr. Nick Horodchek, Mr. Dave Wade, and a random other cast of characters. We talk professional wrestling, and basically that's about it. And it's like this podcast, but instead of where Burhan takes over, I kind of take over and then let him do his thing, and then whatever. That's Fridays, this channel, at some time whenever we get off the air. We don't have a set time. Fridays, this channel, Fridays, Slabcast. Listen to it. Other than that, you can find me on the Twitter at Brandon Allhope, so you can just hear my random musings. if you want to hit me up on my Twitch stream, I sometimes do that too. Trying to get into it more, but I don't think people are actually going to want to watch me play games badly.
Well, you should, because
really
Steve
big.
Benway makes a living out of it.
I mean, shit. Our good friend Samantha Jennings does a pretty good job at it too. She just did a 24-hour Halo stream. That was a very impressive task in and of itself.
Did you watch it?
I watched some of it. No, she did campaign.
Dude,
and she almost made it.
She
almost made it to the end She almost made it to the end. Like I was watching the last hour of her playing, but I don't think I could do the 23 hours leading up to it. I thought about it might have been a good idea. Like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna play Halo in a day. It's just in one sitting. But then I'm like, oh wait, I gotta be awake for a day.
Dude, I've done 48 hours pure awake and stuff.
No, I've done 48 hours awake, but I was doing other things while I was doing it, just living life. I don't know if I could sit 24 hours in one position. That's my biggest thing. Like my legs would cramp up. I would have to play the game standing up, walking around. Like I'm like a shark. I can't stay in one position for one long. I'm even moving around now as I'm doing this podcast. If you're getting any sort of
so there you go,
audio
guys.
interference.
You can find this and many other episodes of I Got Gameplay, including episode 100 with the Happy Console Gamer, which Chris basically was on the boards for. He was checking it out. 102 with John Gamester. 103, which was Desert Island Games with Travis Goss, and also, I believe 101 was
Where's I just want to know where Travis, what desert island Travis is going to that has electricity to run a game. Or is he just bringing chess or checkers, cards, pinochle maybe?
Our previous episode 103 as well is currently on Libsyn. Both Libsyn, our YouTube channel, youtube.com/UnlimRadio. Twitter.com UnlimRadio as well if you want to come and comment on there. You can also find us on Twitter, twitter.com/IGotGameplay, or you can find me personally, twitter.com Michael Burhan. I do game reviews, so check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/TheNerdGenius. Recent one is Destiny. I'm going to have a couple of more reviews up by Monday, including Tales of Heart R and Pokemon Rumble, All-Star Arena, which... The review is going to be a very basic one on this game because I looked at it through every perspective so that I could give it a fair and just review. And it's a kid's game. So you're going to adult perspective on the kids game, basically. Check those out.
Yeah, okay. Speaking of that, I'm coming through my own issue, not to interrupt your plugs here, but should I buy a 3DS for Omega Ruby or Sapphire?
Yes,
I'm basically not.
God fucking yes.
Okay, because it's always been one of those things I've always been gun shy on doing. I'm not gonna play any other games on the 3DS other than Pokemon. It's really just literally something to play while I'm on the toilet.
December 5th as well.
Or just sitting around bored.
Well, December 5th, I'm going to have a party for my daughter Zelda. Her birthday was yesterday on the 21st. She was very poorly in hospital as well. So what we're doing, we're getting her copy of Smash Bros on December the 5th. So we're going to have a big Smash Bros party. I'm going to do a live stream for her. I'm going to do everything so that they can have an 8-player session of Smash Bros. We're going to take you guys through every single nook and cranny of Smash Bros. And I'm also going to write a lovely little letter to Nintendo, see if they can do anything for her as well, because she's a big fan. And I want to make sure that she gets everything that she wants for her birthday. So give a shout out to her. If you like this video, make sure that you go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/UnlimRadio, and like, comment, subscribe. Big thing here, guys. It's one of our big things. You can make sure that you find us on iTunes. We're on iTunes /IGotGameplay. Of course, on the podcast section. You can find us on Stitcher Radio. You can find us everywhere. If you type in I Got Gameplay on Google, you can find everything from us. Find me on the interwebs, nerdgenius.com, of course, which is the official site of this radio podcast and everything else, retrounlim.com. And this Sunday will be the debut of Silent Hill Genesis, our Indiegogo for that. make sure you guys check that out. You know, I'm going to tell you that from first time to all the other times, this is a big thing for us. It's the first time that I'm putting a Kickstarter out for a pilot. Konami's given us permission to do this. The pilot is a prequel based on the Silent Hill video games. It's based on the first 3 games, or the first game, truthfully, starring Harry Mason, of course, as well. And if this gets successfully started, we're looking at 150 grand. You get loads of nice little goodies as well, including a lovely Silent Hill case, which has the contents from the TV pilot. You get a DVD copy of the pilot. There's postcards. There's radio with etchings on it as well. You get character designs. You get cast photos. We will give you everything. And you know, all you need to do is donate as little as £1 for this lovely Indiegogo as well. I'll be looking at corporate sponsors and other things to help us kind of raise the profile for this as well. So make sure from tomorrow, we've got 60 days to raise this money and get this pilot off the ground, so that we can then present it to Konami. They can give us final approval on it, and hopefully we will be able to shop this to other networks as well. It's a big thing, and it's got potential of making my lovely film company, my film and television production company, Enigma Entertainment, a lot of money if we can get this thing off the ground.
Well, it literally will make your company.
Yeah, and it will also make the careers of everyone involved. So think of it that way.
including mine.
Yes. So make sure that you work on that as well, guys. I am a very, very, very busy individual in the film and television industry at the moment. I'm working my arse off to try and secure futures for everybody. So make sure you support that. Support my YouTube channel. Support everything that I do. And make sure you add me on Facebook. Facebook.com/Michael Burhan. Twitter.com Michael Burhan. And guys, last but not least, this is Michael Burhan for Brandon Liggan, for Chris Sanderson, our awesome special guest, for our lovely and beautiful Jamie Stiles, for Kazan Scullion, who is sick, for Travis Goss, who I have no fucking clue what he's doing at the moment, for everyone else, and for each and every one of you, just to say that we've got gameplay. Have you?
Meow.